Okay guys, before we start this video, this current boat is now a superseded model. So for those of you who aren't already aware, I'm a citizen of the world these days. I don't live in Australia. So when I film the Rivieras in Australia, we batch film them. And I actually did this one back last winter, Australian winter. So it has now been superseded by a Series 2, which will be featuring on the channel as soon as we get a chance to film it. There is one in America. I'm on the American continent now as we speak. So I'll bring that to you as soon as possible. So use this video as an opportunity to research the Series 1, and then you can compare it against the Series 2 when it's out on the channel. Hope it's useful. Hope you enjoy. Cheers. So 3 or 4 staterooms with the option of a little lounge office down below, a diesel V-drive shaft motors, and the option for a beautiful tender storage area up on the bow with a crane with 450 kilograms capacity. So this Riviera 64 SMY sport motor yacht, I think this is the kind of boat, if you want to celebrate retirement with a meaningful adventure, I think this is the kind of boat that could possibly be good value to you or worthy of your attention. But it's not going to be for everyone. It does have a lot more windage. Therefore, it should require a little bit more experience and knowledge to operate something like this. And she's got stairs. They're internal, they're comfortable and very nice. But if you've been playing a lot of rugby or a little bit too much tennis as opposed to swimming all your life, maybe that's not your thing. And therefore, that's why we have boats like the SUV, which is also on my channel. So some of the positives that I do see on a boat like this, or the rewards, is the real estate. So when you go 2 levels, we've got a beautiful alfresco dining area out the back and a wonderful balcony upstairs. This is the kind of boat, if you want to fly your family or friends in for extended trips, if you want to do serious extended holidays and have a good time, you can do it on this boat. So keep watching, and hopefully this will be of some value to you. My name's Dan Jones, you're watching Dan's Boat Life. This is the detailed tour, and after this we're going for a drive and we're taking her out in the ocean. It's a beautiful day. So this part of the boat, right in the middle here, this actually removes. So if you do want to put a proper decent tender, and think about this, if you want to have easy access to the tender, you can just deploy it off the stern on the hydraulic swim platform. So if you're in protected waters, Whitsundays for example, that's when you might have it on the transom. But when you want to do some offshore stuff and some big ocean, you may then want to move the tender into the middle of the boat or onto the bow, which is gets it out of the way of the exposed weather. But when this area is clear, we've got beautiful lounging. Everyone can come up here. There is actually a little table that drops in and out here, and obviously this drops back in when the tender has not been deployed. What I'll actually do, I'll open a couple of these storage hatches. So all of these seats have got covers. So there's an L-shaped cover that goes over that one and another cover that goes over that one. You just slot in bolt ropes, and then they've got press studs, all top quality. That's just typical Riviera stuff. This is where you store covers. So we've got mesh covers externally for the windscreen, and we've also got covers that go over the seats. And then these are lockable. We have more storage. We have a little bit less on this side because we have the pass-through, which makes sense because on the port side midships, we do have a side opening door. We'll get to that in a second. Stereo operation in here. This owner has actually teaked the whole boat. It's beautiful look. You don't see this a lot in Australia. Obviously it requires a little bit more maintenance, but if you've got the people to do that, then good on you. We've got some courtesy lights there in the blue. Cleats, forward midships cleats, aft cleats. We also have these cleats here, but we have even more because we've got the fair leads, beautiful stainless steel, as is always the case on a Riviera. So we can run some lines in here and onto these cleats. And then obviously, if you were staying overnight, you'd run a snubber so you don't have the noise of this chain bouncing around, but we're just here temporarily. This is actually a little dam, so that's gonna catch any mud which you have sprayed off the chain using, oh, that's locked. But underneath here, we have a fresh and raw water hose for spraying down the chain. And this is actually deep storage for your fenders and also access into the anchor locker as well. And you can see you can actually tie your fender lines up here and secure them for easy access. But we have plenty more storage on both sides and down the back of the boat for fenders. So depending on what part of the world you're in, if you're in the Mediterranean and you need loads of fenders, that's going to be possibly useful to you. And in other parts of the world, you do you. Stainless steel is just always been done to the nth degree on all these boats. I like to point it out every time because it's not the case on every brand that I inspect, and you should pay attention to that as well. This is the base if you option up the crane. So as I said, it's got a 450 kilogram capacity and you launch and deploy over the side of the boat. So come on aft, pay attention to the overhangs. You see this on all the Riviera designs. We were utilizing this today. The sun was high and strong in the sky and it actually just blocks out a little bit of sun so it doesn't overheat the boat too much for you. Now we've actually got the air conditioning off and we're just using the natural ventilation through the sliding windows. In terms of moving forward and aft, we do have stabilization on this boat. We've actually got active fins. We display that in the next video during the sea trial, but they do keep the boat, which is a higher boat, so more weight aloft, so will have a tendency to rock more than a sedan style, and it does make it quite comfortable to transit forward and aft because the thing's not rocking around too much, basically. This is airflow into the engine room. We'll get to that at the end of the video. But this is a wonderful part of the boat. Out the back here, you've just got so much space to play with. And we also have this alfresco dining area with the best views in the house. But this area, it's fishable, it's social, and it's perfect for deploying lots and lots of water toys. So it's really about you do you and set the boat up as you see fit, because you can also option these with stainless steel railings, which just store and slot in this position, and then you can pull them out and pop them in these locations, and then this whole area becomes really social. If you've got your non-swimming friends come in from China or whatever, you can make it super safe and everyone's not going to worry about falling in the drink. And then when you need to deploy the tender or your toys, this will drop down, and when you're going into the ocean, it will actually hoist up about a, I don't know, couple of inches, about yay far, to get the platform out and away from the ocean in the big seas. So you've got your live bait tank in here. We actually have storage, but it's pumped below my feet. So this hatch just here and this one here could operate as a kill tank because they are both pumped. But these hatches, this big one here and this one here, is access into the engine space, and it's also great for venting it out when you need to get down there and do something. These small cleats are just for tying on a fender, but the big ones tucked in the corner, you actually can't probably see that from where you are, is for securing the boat. And you can see the beautiful stainless in there. And shore power, starboard, same thing again on port, rope lockers, bit of storage underneath here. You can see we've got some covers and even some of our stuff. We've got big and strong and thick double plate Barbie. So that one's the flat plate, that one's got the little corrugation there, and then we've got two drink holders. We've got the Corian bench top, heat plates across, lights coming down, and that is a little safety sensor just there. So if you accidentally close it when it's still on, it'll switch it off. This particular boat has been fitted with 4 wing stations. So this one is the lower starboard aft, but we've also got the one, same again on port. And then we've got 2 more wing stations upstairs. This particular boat has been fitted with screens at every wing station. So that actually allows, even though we are a shaft drive with variable speed thrusters, that allows us to hold station. So if you want to operate a boat completely solo like this, you totally can. And I'll cut to some aerials that we took leaving the marina this morning. Dean just literally pulled the boat out of the berth, activated, position hold, and it kept us exactly where we were whilst we sorted out the lines, or whilst Dean sorted out the lines, because I was flying the drone. So it's totally doable. We have a fridge and a freezer. Just look at the size of the installation. It's designed for tropical conditions because, well, Queensland's tropical. So there you go, perfect for Florida. And more storage just aft of the fridges, just in there. This is a good workspace because we are standing underneath protection of the shade. That ain't going nowhere. It's big stainless steel frame. Honestly, all the covers and clears, they're Australian made. They are made for harsh climates. So anything on a Riviera, whether it's the upholstery, the covers over the upholstery, the clears, or these sunshades, the biminis, they're much, much better than anything you're going to see in Europe, and they will last a long time because the sun here is just so much stronger than anything you see overseas. So that's our other wing station down here. We've also got storage there. We've actually got, oh, actually, no, sorry, that's not storage. That is the manual bilge pump, the pressure wash, and the operation of the platform tucked in there. And underneath here are the shore power cable, fresh water and raw water washdowns. We've got a couple of rod holders on either side. You can set these boats up as full-on fishing boats if you wish. So you can do the full setup if that's of interest to you. We've got cameras aft, we've got speakers, downlights, and then we'll move our way forward. Fuel in on either side, and you can even see how much percentage you have in the tanks from here. And I'm actually just going to show you the door. It operates with a swivel mechanism and boom, like so. This is probably one of the main points of difference when compared to the SUV, which is on, that's the 645 SUV, which is on the same hull, because we don't have a helm station down here. We have a very livable space because the rest of the operation of the vessel is done from up those stairs. So if you are wanting something to do that really, really long trip, that's when this design may make a lot more sense. We even have, this is all hinged, deep storage under here, lots and lots of places for luggage, you know, extra equipment, stores for going away for a long time. Everywhere we see around this vessel, there's going to be options for you. A decent table for some dining in here, but we've got another option out the back, I should say, and another sort of informal area upstairs. But this one's been done in leather. You choose what you want. We've got air conditioning pumping out from here. We've got some window defrosting. We've got a nice amount of safety grab rails overhead, right down the center line. You look at the trim everywhere. This has been done in satin and then complemented with the leather, and then we've got all the downlights around. One thing you may or may not have noticed here, we've actually got a pop-up TV. How cool is that? So everyone can sit around this area. There are blinds that can drop around all of these windows and knock out the sun, and then everyone can enjoy this TV. I think you just need to be careful. If anyone's drunk, don't let them sit here because they might put their knee into the television. So I think the drunk people can stay on that side. But anyway, come back here and let's have a look at the galley, because it's a proper operational area, this. We've got heaps more refrigeration. So we saw all those fridges out the back and we saw the freezers. We actually have another fridge, another fridge here, a wine cooler just in here. And then we've got lots of drawers with all of your glassware. That is all Riviera branded. In here, alcohol storage, more drawers here and here. These stairs, you may not notice, they've actually got some grip underneath. This surface here is super practical for people coming in and throwing their phones down, putting your devices on charge, but it's also sort of the heart of the boat because your C zone is here and everything can be operated here because it's very simple to operate. Once you've driven one Riviera, you're going to understand how to drive any Riv, and you literally just turn the thing on and off by going cruising, dock unattended, entertaining, sleep time. Where did I turn the stereo? Oh, that's our neighbour's crew. Look, see, I told you there was people partying. Just here we go. Show everyone. What day is it today? It's not even the weekend. It's like Tuesday or something. Good on them. I'm jealous. So, air conditioning is operated right next to the C zone. and the genset operation is just below that, and I think that's a water maker, but you can see we've got some charging points. My drone batteries are on charge, and this boat has 2 gensets. That's why we've got 2 genset panels. More storage just up here, boom, boom, 3 of those. That's actually speakers, big, beautiful. Oh, wait a sec, they're quite heavy. I don't want to pull that. Something's in there, but I'm not going to force it because that's not how I roll. So that is the entertainment space in here. So all the electronics for controlling the entertainment of the vessel are tucked in there. Beautiful big workspace, and I'll just sort of tuck my way and go around like this. But we've got fridge, probably freezer, I would say, or fridge freezer, and this is the dishwasher. So that's a bit of a bigger one as compared to what we've seen on some of the other models. We do have some more storage tucked in underneath here. This serving window is like you would see on most Rivieras. It's hinged, and it's on a big strong gas strut and a little safety hook up the top there. So you can pop that up and leave it open underway if you wish, because this whole al fresco area can be enclosed, but we'll get back to that because there's more to cover before we get there. Nice place for all your coffee cups, Riviera branded, and more storage in here. This is where you put your Nespresso machine because you've got some charging. You could probably do one on the other side as well, to be fair. So you do you. You might do some other kitchen appliances there, to be fair. And then you've got 3 burners, big one, medium, and small on this Millet thingamajiggy, and then a Millet oven. Don't even know how to open it. What do you do? Don't know, I'm not going to touch it, don't want to break it. Jump in the comments if you know how to. Proper deep bin. We've got a few more bins dotted all the way around the boat. They're all drained, and you can wash them out should you need. And you can see these holes here. That allows us to slot in some fiddles, and if you're cooking at sea, it will hold your pots and pans in place when the boat's rocking around. Storage underneath, twin sinks. It might have one of those choppy things that chop the vegetables. I'm sure you can, I know you can option that because I've seen it on other Rivieras, so I don't know whether this one actually has it or not. It's got a fancy tap. Not sure if that one pulls out. I don't want to force it. I have seen them do that, and I think this is filtered water. Just here, again, that's probably a dealer option. But let's have a look. We've got deep drawers, we've got shallow drawers, and there's 8 of them in total just here. I think I've covered all that. One of the things I do like is just behind Dean's head, there is another camera. There's some sensibly placed cameras on this boat. So when you are at the helm upstairs, not only have you got visibility out the back of the boat and in other parts like the engine bay, you can also see what's happening down here in the galley, which is a bit of a safety thing because people are, running the kettle and cooking and all that sort of stuff. So it's good to see if you're out in the ocean rocking around that you can keep an eye on what's going on. This is the other dining area, and I think many people are going to favor this al fresco dining spot because she's a beauty. And look how much space we've got. This is great. And that's your view. This is what I love about this design. So this particular one has got the mesh on the outside. It's like a sticker, I guess you would call it. But see how we can still see out, but it sort of stops people seeing in. Well, definitely through the daytime. And then you can kind of option as you wish this area here. So this has got like see-through plastic or plexiglass, but you can also do a mesh if you wish. And tucked up above my right shoulder, just here, is air conditioning. So this whole space can be climate controlled, and then you don't have to have this table in big mode the whole time. It is quite heavy, so don't let the kids do that. And you can get it out of the way and then use this as a grab hold when you are at sea should you need. And this footrest is actually also a seat, so someone can sit in here and still enjoy a meal if you've got a bigger party. Tucked in behind here is actually a lot of your switching, sensibly placed. Remember, most of this is done through the C zone, but Riviera gives you manual overrides and options for everything. You've also got a stereo control just there. And this lounge on the port side flips out and doubles in size if you want to use this as a day bed. So it's a perfect spot for a nap in climate controlled comfort and not getting sunburnt. But you can also watch TV here. No one's going to bung their feet into that one because it's overhead, so that's a sensible spot. And it basically just gets out of the way like so, and then you open this space up as you see. But I was saying, there we go. I knew there was another bin here. Same on the SUV. So another bin location, and there's more out the back in the cockpit, and I'm pretty sure that's an ice machine. So that's handy. Very good. Now, underneath this hatch here, this is access into the engine bay. There is a ladder, but we're not going to go down this ladder because we've got a crew space. Well, it's actually not a crew space, it's an equipment room on this boat, but it's an optional crew space. And that's the easier, more logical area to get down into the engine bay. Before I go, this is where you operate a lot of the lighting in this part of the boat. And you've also got bait tank, underwater lights, etc., all done from a pretty logical location. So come straight in, and I think it's time to go downstairs, but just appreciate, I'm going to drop that TV before we go, how much airflow is coming through this thing with that door open, that window open. It's really nice. Actually, why don't we go to the flybridge before we go downstairs? Let's do that. I think you probably want to have a look upstairs first. Let's go straight up the stairs. I like how you can see through here. It actually feels like a bigger space. And this panel just here and this one above my head, it actually, I'll just unlock it. I'm not going to close it. It's actually a floor, so it pops down when you are in a big sea. This whole area can be closed off to stop anyone from falling down. I'll just do that one for now. I've got to remember to do that when I come back. But come on upstairs. This is where you have your commanding views, and it's a wonderful place to operate the boat, but it's also a wonderful entertaining space should you need. Come straight to the helm. Let's jump in and have a seat, and you guys can appreciate what's going on. So, yes, you need to ask yourself, are you okay with the stairs? And are your passengers and your missus okay with the stairs, or your husband? So once you're okay with that and you do see extra value in this extra real estate, these are the views that you're going to have at rest and underway. It is really, really nice, particularly for a fishing focused vessel. Obviously you see the benefits in that already. But we've got drink holders here, we've got windscreen wipers, we've got the control for the touchpads or the multifunctional displays, which are all touchscreen just here. We've got our throttles. We can do single lever if we wish. This is the Humphrey 0 speed. So this is operating the active fin stabilization at the midships, but it's also doing the interceptors at the transom. So you can operate them manually, but you can also do essentially auto operation of the interceptors, and that's what we've been doing all day during the sea trial. This is the twin disc joystick operation. It's fantastic. It's actually a piece of piss. So if you've driven any boat with an IPS, this is going to be easier. It's so easy to use using this screen here. That allows us to do the position hold, but I'm just going to take you across the dash now. We've got MAN V12s on this one. It's got optional V8s. I would suggest the V12s are probably the better pick for 90% of you because we are a heavier boat when compared to the SUV. We are carrying around more windage, more weight, therefore more power makes sense. Engine operation, we've got our Garmin display just here for the autopilot. We've got searchlight, we've got the chain counter just here. We've got all the bilges just here and sunroof operation. And then we've also got navigation lights, horn, and then we're going up on the display with the triple big screens. It's all wrapped in a darker matte style leather. This is a bit of a cross stitch look here. No reflections back in your face. And then obviously you choose what you want to have displayed on the main screens. But we do have air conditioning in sensible places. We've got a second C zone on the center line just here. And then we've got a primary fusion below that. VHF, easily accessible. And you have a tendency to get up onto the seat using this footrest here, but then you might also rest your feet on the leather here and chuck basically sunnies and phones, because you've got a charging point just there at your feet, because you're going to spend a lot of time sort of resting in these helm chairs, because see here, you've got full control. You got up, down, forward, back, and then recline, and it's a super comfy seat. If you do need to eat up some miles and do 5-10 hours at a time, that is a really good seat to do it from. And your navigator is not struggling either. The navigator only has forward and back and then backrest. There's no up and down operation, but super comfy all the same. The navigator is in charge of the air conditioning on this side, and you've got a drink holder just there. Got a little glove box for storing some bits and pieces. More phone charging. You can basically put your feet up here and not worry so much. And then if you don't want the air conditioning and you want to have natural ventilation, you can, because these windows will slide on port and starboard. And we've got a massive opening sunroof just above our heads. I haven't opened that because the sun's a little bit strong today, even though it is winter and I don't want to get sunburned. But you may or may not have saw or noticed these grab holds. They go from port to starboard right the way across, and they're kind of useful for literally doing this. So particularly if you're in a bit of a seaway and you just don't want to fall over, you're probably going to do a bit of that. So just pay attention. We've got overhead red, and you can knock out the white lights if you're operating at nighttime. And then these blinds, see how they pull down? Okay, so you can knock out the sun all the way around, and these blinds are right throughout the boat, but the forward windscreens, they actually slide down, so they're not going to basically accidentally come down in a big sea. So that's good. We've got a fridge just here, because this is going to be a comfortable place to relax on passage and observe. A little bit of storage just there. We've got more power in terms of 240 and 12 volt and air conditioning right here. So that's actually keeping this person comfortable. You might have a kip if you want. You've actually got a good amount of space for throwing some books and charts if you need in there. More phone storage, drink holding, power, storage underneath here. And actually, I'd say this one probably converts into a bed, because I've seen on some of the other models, you actually just slide this thing out and the whole thing transforms into an emergency bed. But as it is, it's a nice climate controlled hangout zone, because we've also got a TV there with storage around it. And my footrest just here with the coffee table actually should double up. Boom, boom. So you can put your Monopoly board games in this storage area just under here, use it as a footrest or use it as a little coffee table. You do you. And then, as I mentioned, you've got a little bit of storage tucked in behind the TV just there. And we've still got grab hold on the center line and another grab hold here, because you are going to rock around a little bit more. You know, just remember, flybridge, more weight aloft. That's just what happens. I'm going to open this window for you. But we still have this lovely balcony. How good's this? So this is just a wonderful space. And I think this is where your sons are going to ask Dad to set up the DJ and impress all their girlfriends on the boat party floating around the back here. I can just imagine that happening. But it's a wonderful, don't fall. It's a wonderful bar area as well. This is cool. Commanding views, really, really fun space. You've got fridge in here. We've got a little bit of storage, perfect for throwing the covers, which we took off earlier today. Corian bench tops, hot and cold water. But these are the other wing stations. So you can leave the primary helm, come straight out here. We've got a position, because we have this screen, we can activate position hold and the boat will stay exactly where we want to, or we can maneuver the boat from up here and just come in and have a look at your visibility forward and then look at your visibility down aft. You can see everything on the port side, and same thing again, because we have a starboard wing station. And even the little things, it's got this weather cover, and it's just got like a sensible press stud that you just flick up, and you can just do that because it's on a bolt rope just there. and you're ready to take command. And now I've got full viz down the starboard side. So I love that. That's great, but it's not over. This table here will actually, this will pull out. I'm not going to do it because I'm trying to keep this tour moving. But look at this. How cute. So you've got this nice little satin finish on this one. You can do the high gloss. And underneath these ones, I don't think there's any storage. Don't hold me to it. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. And the roof line ends just here. So you're going from solid roof to soft roof. That's going to be keeping weight out of that area by not extending it too far. And this hatch gets you up on the roof. I'm not really sure you'd want to do the run and jumps off this boat unless you're really confident of your swimming ability. So come with me now and let's head downstairs and do the accommodation, because there's plenty to see. As I said, you could do 3 staterooms or you could do 4, but this particular boat has got a little office, which is super cool. So you don't have to have this office. You can have this in a little lounge area. So if you selected the 3 staterooms, this could be a little seating lounge. But as this one has been set up, it's been set up as a bit of an office storage area. You can see we've got some deep storage just in here. That's probably good for a couple of throw cushions. We've actually got hanging locker and lots of drawers throughout here. We're going to get to the master, but I want to show you the VIP first. You probably will have family and friends flying in from other locations, and this is a good spot to stow luggage just underneath there. And then bedding is going to go pretty well in these drawers, and you've got 4 of them underneath the bed. And then a lot of your board shorts and t-shirts and things can go up here because it's maybe a little bit easier to access. 1, 2, 3 of those. You do have a pull down blind, nice size window, so you can still see the views out through there, particularly when you're in bed, because when you're lying in bed, your eye line's going to look straight out there. And you've actually got charging or light switches. Where did I say the charging? That's right, just down here. So you can put your phones here and charge. TV, hanging storage. So that's a hanging locker, timber line, the light turns on, and then you've got your own private head and shower just here. So we don't have the rain head, but we got that shower head. I don't even know what the name for that is, but we've got a nice little vanity. We've got a good amount of storage behind the mirror and below, so you're not struggling whatsoever. Whew, the changes took up a little bit. So you come through this door and you've actually got access into the day head through this door, which also has its own private access. So if you go in there and then come around, and you can see how this guest cabin works. So you go through that door, you've got your separate shower, similar vanity to the VIP, and we've got twin singles in this one. But this bed actually is on tracks. See those tracks there? This boats come from the boat show, so we've got plastic all over the carpet to protect it. But this will actually slide across and meet this bed, and then this bedside table area, there's actually another one on that side. So that'll actually, this one will disappear and that will come into view, but everyone can sit up in bed. You've got some storage here, you've got a TV, air conditioning control. You've actually got a hanging locker behind this door, so nobody's struggling whatsoever. Storage, or not storage, access into the bilge through that hatch in the floor just there. Bit of storage or shelving in here. Same again. Got some waves coming in. Jesus, who's made those waves? Crikey. Someone must be testing a boat, but I can hear the stabilizers doing their thing to keep us Actually, come and have a look. Quick, come and have a look at these waves. Look at that. Look at that. Can you hear the stabilization doing its thing? And look at our boat relative to the horizon. That's the difference this thing makes. We're still comfortable. I don't know who made those waves. Someone must be doing a sea trial up and down the channel. Anyway, so now we're in the master. This is a beautiful space. The satin finish again. I like how they've done or sort of captured the master bed with this design in here. It's quite pleasant. And this soft touch, I probably shouldn't touch that, I might mark it, I don't know. But the soft touch is lovely. You got the cushions there. If you had too many throw cushions, you could put them off to one side. Pretty sure you can option this with a lounge to one side if you wish. You got plenty of charging points. We've got storage on this boat on either side. I would love to see a coffee station if that's possible. If you know if it is, please jump in the comments, because I feel like that would work pretty well. But we've got overhead storage just up here on both sides. And these bulkheads, they actually build in sound absorbing material into the bulkheads. So sound doesn't have a tendency to travel through the boat on these Rivieras. And I notice that when I'm out in the ocean, because it's not reverberating up through and to the helms where I am, which it does on some boats. Flat screen TV, you've even got, this particular owner has put a Garmin there. I like that, so he or she can have some situational awareness from bed. That's quite useful. And you can see that's the bedside table. We saw that repeated on the other side. But this is the master head and shower. They do have the rain head in this one. And then that thing that I don't remember the name of, feel free to jump in and correct me in the comments. I'm pretty sure this is a heated towel rack. So that's handy, but then you can hang your other towels just here, and same again behind this door. There's actually 4 more. So you can do your bath towels and your beach towels, no worries. And we've also got holding tank monitor just behind the head here, so you can see what the status is. But through this door, we've got the option to have a crew cabin with a toilet and shower. But this particular owner, as most Aussies, and to be fair, a lot of Americans are into this, owner-operator is going to see more value out of using this as an equipment space and a tool room, essentially. So we've got a washer and dryer, we've got storage, we've got tools, you've got the Dyson, you've got some more storage up on top here. And instead of having a bed here, which I know some of you guys watching from Thailand would see some value in that, because you're going to run a boat like this fully crewed. We've got the toolboxes, and then we're carrying that through to just having a sink here, more storage under the sink and above, and then a access to some of your switching for situational awareness and more drying for a lot of your clothing down here. So that's kind of sensible. But if you didn't go with this option, this would be a bed, and then this would be a toilet and shower. Okay, so that's the difference. So you do you. So remember when I said we had the overhead hatch into the engine space? This one makes a lot more sense. So we come through this watertight door, guys, and into the engine space. As you can see, come in and have a look. It's full stand-up headroom for someone of my height, 5'7". I've still got a few inches above my head. You can access via this ladder here, and it's also good for opening those aft hatches. We've only opened one. There's actually 2 for venting this space if you need to do some work if you've been running the genset. So our primary genset is just port forward. Our night genset is starboard on the bulkhead, and we've got our cooling, so our refrigeration and air conditioning above that on racks. Both motors are a V-drive shaft. So the motors are facing this way, and they're going through the V-drive, which is swapping it back and sending the shaft out through the bottom of the boat just there. And you can see outboard of that, we've actually got one of the 3 fuel tanks with sight gauges. So you can see that stainless steel sight gauge. It's all marked in English. Great to see. Easy access for the fuel filters as well. And then same thing again on the starboard side. And that's the junction box for the hydraulics to operate the thrusters. Raw water filters are going to be, wait a sec, is that raw water filter? I think it is. And then coming back aft, you can actually see the main engine exhausts going down there. They're heading underwater, and we've got our engine room ventilation system just above that. Same again on the other side. And you actually can move your way fairly well aft, because we don't have a tender garage, because we're storing the tender up on the bow or out on the transom. We've got another toolbox here. We've got access to the steering gear aft. We've got water maker to starboard, storage box, plenty more space. We've got hot water tanks, so you can sort of move your way around, remembering this hatch overhead and above me is also openable. So lots of options, and I like seeing the flat floor down the center line to make life easier for the mechanic. And we got our batteries underneath there on the center line for weight and balance. And the third fuel tank is actually forward on the center line, also for weight and balance. Bloody magpies. Very annoying. So I hope that was very useful. If you like what you see, we will be going for a drive next. So that video is going to pop up on the screen pretty soon. But I just want to sort of wrap it and have a discussion with you about who probably will see the most value out of owning a boat like this. And then in the next video, we'll talk about some maybe competition or alternatives for you to consider. So who would see the most value out of owning a boat like this? I think it's going to be a previous Flybridge owner. If you've had a 50 footer or something like that and you understand the value and you understand how to operate and get your head around maneuvering something like this, you're really going to see a lot of value in owning one of these boats. Someone who genuinely wants to do some serious extended cruising, and I'm talking about circumnavigating Australia, driving to New Zealand, or doing the entire east coast of the USA or down the west coast and to Mexico. If that's you, you're going to see some fun in a boat like this because it does make a lot of sense. Yeah, and if you want a boat that will accommodate a serious tender, so if you really do want that option to get it off the platform and up on the bow, that does make sense for big sea conditions. That's also quite logical. And quite clearly fishermen, it's not a game boat. It's not a Viking. It's not trying to be. It doesn't want to be, but you can fish from something like this, and you can set it up to fish for you should that be part of your enjoyment. Design feedback positives or pros. I love that extra flair on the sport motor yachts. You also see this on the SUV, and it makes a little bit more sense if you're doing a little bit more time out in the ocean as opposed to the sports cruisers or the sports yachts, of which we have one right behind us because we're about to go on that in about 10 minutes. Crew cabin, or having the option to have that crew cabin. Now I know a lot of my mates in Thailand, where I live now, you're going to run a boat like this crewed, and they're going to live down there. So that's quite useful for you. Quite a few of my mates in Majorca are going to be doing the same thing as well, because it's just a different style, it's a different culture of boating in Europe and Asia when compared to Australia and the US. So having that crew space does make the boat more favourable to some of those climates. Shaft drives. A lot of people still love the shafts. There's very clear and distinct benefits to owning shafts, and so this boat has them. And I gotta say, the twin discs on this joystick with the station hold, it's freaking awesome. So, you know, once you can get your head around the extra windage that we have with so much more boat aloft, this is going to make your life real easy. Is there any cons? It's a Riv. It's really hard to fault these boats. So if you own one, if you've noticed something that's niggling at you and you can provide some constructive criticism or feedback, pop it in the comments. Riv actually do listen and communicate with me and their customers. So I don't see any, you know, okay, that door rattled a bit during our sea trial, but there's nothing in terms of the design and the inherent layout of the boat that I see as negative. So no, it's a Riv. It's awesome. Competition. I'm going to touch on that in the next video. Performance, that's coming right up. We're doing all of the next video out in the ocean today because it's a lovely day. We've got right conditions for it. We had a little bit of wind blowing offshore, so a bit of wind chop and a nice amount of swell. Exactly the sort of conditions that I think you guys would want to cruise north or south in on a Riviera. So that's why we do it. So yeah, just click on the video coming up on your screen right now. Don't forget to subscribe. If you want to see more videos like this and other competing brands, it's your subscriptions. Get in the comments. Tell me what boat you own now and what boat you're comparing this with, because I'll then try and test that boat, but it also helps open doors for me when I'm annoying these factories, asking them to give me the keys and borrow their boats. Love you lots. See you next time.